Hello, we're live. Bill, I've been trying to add you. It doesn't seem to be happening. Try once again. Add person to Hangout. Click on the link. And you seem to be disappearing. Are you still there? Hi, Craig. So, Bill, are you still there? This is not working as well as it's not working according to directions. Attendees, there you are. And I'm supposed to be able to add you to the Hangout. So I'm clicking on add you to Hangout. And you're disappearing from the attendee list, but you're not showing up in the Hangout. All right. So the challenge I have, I guess, is, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna screw around with it anymore. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me and see me? I'm not going to screw around with it anymore, Bill. It's not working according to the instruction manual. So I will work on figuring this out before the next webinar. And so are you there now? Are you back with me? Hi, Chris. Can you all hear me? Chris says yes, she can hear me. And you can see me. Okay, cool. Well, welcome, everybody. It's 11:30. Let me get started. As you know, we went through sort of a strange issue with webinars on air, because when the time change occurred Sunday, they changed the clocks and they changed the time of the webinar at the same time. I'm not quite sure what the recovery is for the entire series. I may have to kill the series and have you just all log back, register again. I don't know. Or you may get a flurry of emails telling you that I've changed the times of all the seminars, because I have to move them all. They've all been moved by 1 hour. Does everybody understand what I'm saying to you? Anyhow, I don't know what to do about that, so I'm working on it. I have an email into support at Webinars on Air trying to find out what it is what the best way to do it is. I want to go ahead and get started with what I want to give you as a presentation today, because it's going to last a little bit longer. I won't run over the half hour, but it's probably a little bit longer than 10 or 15 minutes. As far as we talked last week about doing some training on Aweber, and I promised that I would come back with an answer today. And what I think I'm going to do, and I did put the word think in there, is I think I'm going to do a completely separate Aweber training that's not going to be part of the Lunch with Len series, because it's going to be longer. I can't do it I don't believe I can do it in a half hour. So I'll let you know about that. I don't have a firm plan yet, and I'll apologize to Chris for not having a firm plan yet, but I don't. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna hope that everybody actually can see my screen. Hang on for just a second. And what I'm going to do once again is, if it's not coming through, will somebody send me a text message? And my phone number is 510-4 410-1797. I just typed that into the chat. Hopefully, hopefully somebody can send me a text if things aren't working right. And so I'm going to go ahead and screen share and bring up a PowerPoint presentation. And I want to talk a little bit today. I've been reading a book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Go. And the book is an incredibly exciting book, and I want to share some of it with you. So some of what I'm about to do is taken from the book directly, and some of it is my own thoughts sort of interspersed in there, and I think you'll be able to see the difference. So let me go with the screen share, and let me bring up the PowerPoint. Here it comes. It's coming up, and screen share, and hopefully present to everyone. And here comes the presentation. And so I hope you can see that. And like I said, a big part of this presentation is based on Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. I'm basically going to start at the end of the book, the conclusion. Start now, just do it. There's a quote in the book by Oliver Wendell Holmes, a former U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Many people die with their music still in them. Why is this so? Too often it is because they are always getting ready to live. And before they know it, time runs out. So the question, and I know that I've been guilty of this many times myself. The question is, are you getting ready to get ready? How many of us sit down and we need to pick up the phone and make a phone call, but then we look at our desk and we say, well, my desk needs organized. We need to learn more. We think we need to go take another course or two. What do you need to get started? That's the fundamental question. And another quote directly from the book by Ray Bradbury: first you jump off the cliff, then you build the wings on the way down. Super successful people jump in feet first. They don't wait till they're ready. And the reason they don't wait till they're ready is because they know they will never be ready. If they wait till they're ready, it ain't going to happen. So the key to success is to take what you know and get started. So what did you learn today? Some of you were on Bert's webinar this morning. What did you learn? Make a video about it, write an article, make a blog post. Are you reading 10 pages in a good book every day, minimum? If so, what did you learn? Teach me. Tell me what you learned today. Go make a little video about it, or again, a blog about it, or something else. Apply the principle, learn, apply, teach, which so many of our mentors are telling us all the time. And one of the things that I used to worry about in the beginning is I was worried about I might step on someone's toes. And I was looking around for a niche that I could fit comfortably into. And let me tell you what I meant by that. First, I worried about Michelle Pescasolido. And this goes back about 2.5, 3 years when I first started into the Jonathan Budd course. And Michelle was doing Facebook training. So I thought, well, if she's doing Facebook training, I can't do Facebook training because that's what she does. Wrong. And what I've learned over the last 2.5, 3 years is that these leaders, they don't know what I'm doing. They don't even notice. They're too busy doing their own thing. And I don't have to worry about what she thinks. I don't have to really worry about what anybody thinks. Why is that? Well, for the most part, most people don't think at all. And don't get me wrong, I didn't say Michelle doesn't think. But what I do know is that she doesn't think about me very often. And it doesn't matter to her if I'm doing Facebook training too, and if we're all doing Facebook training, she doesn't feel threatened by that. And what about the other leaders? Do any of you worry about stepping on somebody's toes? You know, Kate and Andrew, or Rob Four, or Justice, or Ray, and worry that you can't compete with them? Don't worry about it. You don't have to compete. You're not competing. You complement. The point is, they don't care. You're building your own audience. So, in fact, they generally feel flattered and complimented when you follow in their footsteps. And what have we been learning all along? Abundance is all around us. We live in an abundant universe, and worries about what others may think is scarcity thinking. So get over it. Grow into the language of kings. Know that we can speak for ourselves. Forge ahead. Pave your own path. And directly from the Guru Code, how do we get an attention of a king? We do what they do. We don't worry about it. We do what they do. We get results, and we report back, and we also provide service. So these people are all trying to help us to learn how to do what we need to do. And they respond to people that take action. They don't feel threatened if we're doing the same thing they're doing. In fact, they feel complimented. And they know that if we're doing what they're doing and we're taking action and getting results, that it's a feather in their cap. So the other piece of the Guru Code, let me go backwards a minute. I think I just messed up. Yeah, okay. I missed a slide in there. So the key to success is get started and to realize you can't do everything all at once, but you can begin. And this again is directly from Jack Canfield's book. Of course, we have to all start by taking 100% responsibility for our own life and our own success. And I quote, "I create the exact amount of success in my life." And for each of us, we need to work on clarifying our life's purpose. So back to the Guru Code. Who am I? What is my major purpose in life? At page 23 of Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, has an exercise to help you define your life's purpose. And personally, I think this is an evolutionary process. One of the things that's occurred to me in the last couple of years is that my life's purpose has evolved over the years. It's not today, it isn't what it was 20 or 30 years ago. You know, when I was 18 years old, I think my life's purpose then was to chase girls and drink too much. And today, my life's purpose is to stay sober and to serve. So things have really evolved for me, and they have evolved for you too, I'm sure. So the question then I have for you is, do you have a crystal clear vision of where you want to go in your life and what you want your life to look like in 3, 4, 5 years? And I created a list just to prompt our thought processes. Start with a clean slate. Write down what you want your life to look like. Don't contaminate it with thoughts of scarcity. Assume you have all the resources required and believe it's possible. Where do you live? What do you drive? Where do you vacation? What relationships do you have? And for me, that's actually an important one. As many of you know, I am single. My wife passed several years ago. And one of the big things up on my radar screen is to find a soulmate. Where I live isn't so awfully important, but what my relationships are like is a big one for me. If you have kids at home, where do they go to school? What charities do you help? What projects do you participate in? What activities do you do? And I really do have a completely developed vision of what I want my life to look like and where I'm going. So I would challenge you to do the same thing. But also, and this comes from Jack's book, to chunk it down into manageable pieces. So, an exaggeration, of course, but if you're living in a tent right now in a field, then imagining a $10 million mansion in 5 years might be a bit of a stretch. But you might imagine an apartment or a better house than you're living in. So having a vision that has manageable goals in it makes it easier for your brain to accept. You eat a cow one bite at a time. You can't sit down with a knife and fork and eat a cow, but you can have a quarter pounder with cheese. So goals need to be realistic and attainable. They should be measurable. They should be believable. So can you really see yourself there? And then take baby steps forward, but take them now. See it, believe it, achieve it. And I would ask you, do you have a daily plan of action? Now, I personally practice what I preach, and I'll share it with you in a moment, but I have a pretty comprehensive daily method of operation or daily plan of action. And it's a dynamic document. I update it as the need arises. So I start my day every morning, almost every morning, with a Tai Chi stretching routine. I read, and I'm going to say 10 pages of a good book, but that's a lie. I don't always read 10 pages. Sometimes I read more. Maybe occasionally I read less, but for the most part, I read from something every day that helps me. And that's one of the reasons I got into this Success Principles book. It's a 500, almost 500 page book. So it takes a while to read it, especially if you're doing 10 pages a day. And there's my personal DMO, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I have every day of the week there, Sunday through Saturday. And I start with my Tai Chi stretches, and I start with personal development videos, and I have workout, go to the gym or ride my bike 3 days a week. I have drink water on my list, because if I don't put drink water on my to-do list, I will forget to drink water. I am notorious for going through an entire day without drinking any water at all. And down at the bottom, there's practice my guitar 15 minutes a day, because if I don't do that, I miss it. And in between, there are all the other things I do: put up a video, put up an e-zine article, write a blog post, and I have it scheduled out which days I have which activities and when I'm going to do them. And that helps me. It really helps stay on task and keep me focused on what it is that I want to accomplish and when I want to get it done. So that's been for me a really important piece of my activities. So, my friends, the choice is yours. And this, again, is the conclusion of Jack's book. You can have, do, or be anything you want. We've all heard this before, but we need to remind ourselves of it. At least I need to remind myself of it pretty frequently. I'm in charge. So I would challenge you, if you don't have a vision of what your life looks like in 3, 4, 5 years, to create that vision for yourself. And then write down some intermediate goals. So if the vision is to have a $10 million mansion and you're living in a tent, well, the intermediate goal might be to get an apartment next year. But you understand what I mean. I'm exaggerating, obviously, for the sake of making the point, but have some intermediate goals that are believable, achievable, and measurable, so that when you get there, you can believe that you're making progress. Create some affirmations for yourself, but get started now. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So my question for you is, have you taken that first step? And if not, why not? And have you taken the second step? And if not, why not? And will you take that step today? And I'm holding out my hand. If I can help you in any way, just ask. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. I want to help. That is what I have for the presentation today. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing and come back. So, chat is on. Did you folks get value? Is anybody still there? My computer says poor system performance. Try reducing video resolution. But it looks like it's working okay to me. So, Are you there? Will somebody chat it up a little bit? I don't see. Are you folks there? Well, I can't tell what's happening. So I guess that I'm just going to stop the broadcast. Beginning to dislike webinars on air. Can anybody still hear me? Okay, we're going to stop the broadcast.